I'm standing out here by the Peterson Automotive Museum at 6060 Wilshire Boulevard on the intersection of Wilshire and Fairfax. Over there across the street, diagonally, you can see the Johnny's Coffee Shop Restaurant, historical landmark, and you might just be able to barely make out my sign over there, which I left there just to cross the street and start from this position to make this little video. I've been out there in front of the coffee shop campaigning. In 2016, they actually covered up the word Johnny's on top with Bernie's, so it said Bernie's Coffee Shop Restaurant, and there have been a lot of Bernie Sanders meetings and rallies out here. It's a very popular place for people to come. Well, there's that Peterson's Automotive Museum I was standing in front of. It's a very recognizable building. This is in, well, it's in, let's see, what is the neighborhood here? Koreatown, I believe it is. No, we might be slightly west of Koreatown, in the Los Angeles area. Again, it's the intersection of Wilshire and Fairfax, and I would highly recommend anybody who's in the area who has some Bernie signs to come by and just kind of do what I'm doing. Stand out there, you know, if you've got the time, for a few minutes, a few hours, whatever the case might be, whether you're alone, whether you're with other people, and just talk to the people and let them know that Bernie will be a candidate in the general election. He will be valid here in California. Even if he's not on the ballot, we'll make sure he's a certified write-in candidate. Going to do our best to get him on the ballot, put on by the people. If the Democratic Party decides to put him on as well, great, we could use their help. But if they want to fight against us, specifically, I'm not talking about Democratic Party members, but the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, who screwed over their members in 2016 and basically gave us Donald Trump on a silver platter. If they want to fight against the people, we independents are ready for them. We outnumber their members, and we certainly outnumber the committee itself by a huge amount. So, yeah, that's my sign. That was actually my first time getting to see it from that far away, by the way, all the way across the street. I've made other videos already of my campaigning since I got my new phone, and posted them up on YouTube. I don't expect I've got very many views yet. When I originally put them on, they were unlisted. This one will also be initially unlisted. Because that's what my default setting is right now, and then I'm going to have to go and make it public and then share it on Twitter. Not necessarily in that order, but you know, so that people can find it. And I would like to be live streaming this. I'm having to record it and then upload it later. I'd like to be live streaming it, but Google bought out YouTube, and they added a restriction on that says you have to have 1,000 subscribers on your channel before you can live stream now. I've live streamed in the past, now I can't on YouTube. So anybody out there watching this, please share, like, subscribe, help me get to my 1,000 so that we can so that I can live stream and we can do a better job of supporting Bernie Sanders for president, both in the primaries and in the general election. And yes, I will be out here, not this spot necessarily, although some of the time, sure, but I'll be out and around campaigning for Bernie Sanders in the general election. I will continue to make more videos as long as I'm able to do so, and post them on YouTube. So if you subscribe, you should be able to get them from time to time. I hope I don't end up sounding too repetitive, because it's not like I have an awful lot to say. Well, okay, yeah, technically I do, but it's easiest to remember the same stuff over and over and over. And so I probably will repeat myself a lot. This is not scripted. If I take the time to write a script sometime, I suppose I could make something a little better. But right now, this is what I'm doing. I'm just doing what I can, and it's exhausting out here, holding up that big sign in the wind and everything. Not easy. Right now, it's sitting there rather nicely. When I first put it up there, the wind was blowing it all over the place, and I was wondering, would I be able to get it to lay flat? I fastened it down on the sides, and it's been staying pretty calm since then. So it's doing all right. Makes a nice little addition there. Of course, I need it for my campaigning, so I can't just leave it there. But anybody who wants to make one for Johnny's Coffee Shop to maybe put in the window or something, if they'll let you do that, feel free to download my designs off of Twitter and at Donald Kronos with a K on Twitter, and you know, you can use my designs for all the Bernie campaigning you want, because that's what they're for. And I hope a lot of people will follow my example. When I was young, I was a pacifist. I figured, set a good example and the world will follow it. Well, the world doesn't work that way. Sure, Mahatma Gandhi got a few people to notice him as a pacifist, but for the most part, pacifists don't get noticed. Now, violent activists, terrorists, sure, they get noticed. I will not condone that, not in any way. I'm a peaceful activist, but I am a hard-working activist. I am one of the people who's out there doing what I believe is right, trying to make the world a better place, doing the hard work necessary to improve the lives of other people, not doing it for some reward in paradise. I don't even believe in such a thing. I'm not even doing it for some reward here on this planet in this life. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do. And I hope other people will join me. And I'm making this video and others like it because I understand that if you want people to follow your example, they have to notice your example. And it ain't enough just to see it. They have to know what it's about. They have to understand it. So I hope I've explained myself reasonably well. Thanks for hearing me out. Oh, by the way, that's my walker. Doing my best to not need it anymore. It's not an easy thing. Beat the odds, at least I can walk, but right now, using a cane, I can go short distances without it, but I risk falling down, and you know, at my age, that's a hazard of breaking bones. Actually, at any age it is, but you know, the older you get, of course, the more fragile bones tend to become, especially for one like me who has arthritis. I've had arthritis most of my life. And that's another thing, you know, there are people out there who say, oh, Bernie's too old. Well, you know what? He's in way better health than I am, and I'm out here doing this. He's older than I am, but he's in better health. He's in great health both mentally and physically. I would say probably about the best health of any candidate out there, which is kind of amazing considering how much younger than him some of them are. But in being younger, that also means they have less life experience than him. And I would dare say that at least the vast majority of them have less experience in politics than he does as well. And I would think, now anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I know of Bernie Sanders and from what I know of the other candidates I know anything about, he's got way more experience as an activist than any of them. He never stopped being an activist when he became a politician. Me, I wouldn't want to be a politician, but I am a candidate for the Electoral College to be an elector for Bernie Sanders, an independent elector, not one of the Democratic Party's electors. If they want to make me one, fine, I'll take the position, but I don't think they will because I'm not a Democratic Party member, and they seem to have a bit of a problem with that most of the time. Although Bernie Sanders is an independent, and they not only have accepted him as a candidate for their nomination twice, but they've also put him into leadership positions to lead their party. in spite of not being a member, because they understand that he knows how to get things done. He knows how to talk to the people. He's just good at what he does. And they need that. So, you know, he's a huge asset to them. What are they to him? Well, there's something standing in the way of helping us. And he's doing his best not to let them stand in the way. He's working with them to the extent they'll be worked with. And in 2016, he won their nomination, and they turned around and threw out some of his delegates and redid the delegate vote and pretended he lost. And as a result, we have Donald Trump as a president. The people didn't elect Donald Trump. The people tried to vote against Hillary Clinton, and there was no such option on the ballot, so they picked voting for Donald Trump, which was, in their minds, unfortunately, the next closest thing. Well, here's a thought. What if those people had decided, instead of voting against Hillary Clinton by voting for Donald Trump, what if they voted against Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump by voting for Bernie Sanders? Well, see, here's the thing. They didn't believe he could win. So they see that as throwing a vote out. Well, I'll tell you what. If you're voting with the odds, you're pretty much throwing your vote out anyway. If you're just voting what you think is already going to happen, what does it need you for? I mean, don't get me wrong. I'd still encourage you to vote because it might be close and you want to make that difference. You know, if you want to make sure that it's your way, play a part in it. But the thing is, if you're looking at it thinking, well, there's no way this is going to go my way, you can change that. You can do something about it. You can make it a little bit more likely, one vote more likely that things will go your way. And that means if you support any particular candidate as a first choice, as someone you actually think should win, actually think you want to have win the presidency, and not just the presidency, any election for any position. If there's a candidate you would really like to see win, and you think that candidate has little or no chance, but you have a way to vote for that candidate, then increase the odds of that candidate winning. Give that candidate a better chance. We independents outnumber Democrats and Republicans. And I'm putting both the Democrats and the Republicans on notice. I know most of the Democrats support Bernie Sanders. Most of the Republicans I've met also support Bernie Sanders. Some of them support Donald Trump and still plan to vote for Bernie Sanders. I don't really fully understand the way everybody thinks, but I kind of get it because, well, I support Tulsi Gabbard. I plan to vote for Bernie Sanders. I hope Bernie takes Tulsi Gabbard as his running mate. As a matter of fact, if he doesn't pick one soon, here in California, we're going to have to pick one for him in order to make sure that he is valid as an independent candidate. And we picked Tulsi Gabbard in 2016. I've already taken some polls and surveys, and it seems to me that's what we're going to end up doing again in 2020. So hope Tulsi don't mind running as his vice presidential running mate. In the meantime, you know, there's nothing wrong with supporting them both as presidential candidates. They're both good candidates for president, and there are other good candidates as well. And I'm not knocking any good candidates. This isn't about, you know, who's good and who's bad. It's about democracy. I have an opinion. I think Bernie Sanders is the best. Do your research, and I believe you also will think Bernie Sanders is the best. Now, am I correct? Well, I think so. I hope you'll do your research and you'll think so as well. Oh yeah, underneath this sign, which I was holding up, but I put down to go start this video, there is another sign that says vote for the best no matter what. And that's what I've had showing out here on the walker as it sits there. I've got one wheel down in a little trench in the ground to keep the wind from blowing it away, because we get these gusts of wind out here. And so I'm going to put this thing away, and I'm going to go back to holding up my smaller Bernie sign for a while. And talk to some of these people going by and try my best to promote Bernie Sanders for president, because that's my campaign. We need a president like Bernie Sanders, and Bernie Sanders is one of a kind, so that means we need Bernie Sanders. Now, are we going to get him? Maybe. I'd say the odds are good, but we have to work hard at it, and we have to prepare for possibilities like what happened in 2016. If it looks like Bernie Sanders is not an option, I want as many people as possible to already have spread the word that he is an option, that he will be an option in as many states as we can make him an option. Yes, some states don't even allow a write-in. In those states, people need to get out there and get him on the ballot. Don't wait for the political parties to do it. Find out how to do it without them. Find the paperwork, write up the petitions, get the signatures, get the paperwork filed, get your candidate on the ballot. And if you can't, then by all means, do everything you can to fix that, so that in the future, the people will be able to put their candidate on the ballot, and they won't have to settle for letting some big two-headed political party pretending to be one decide for them who's going to help the rich elite that don't need any help and get elected. Yeah, they got their money to help them. I'm happy for them. I'm not so happy for the rest of us. We need help too.